Have you ever felt like you're waiting on God, but nothing is happening? You pray, but the answer doesn't come. You believe, but the breakthrough is nowhere in sight. You try to stay strong, but doubt starts creeping in. Why is God taking so long? Did he forget about me? Is my promise ever going to come? If you've ever asked these questions, you're not alone. The waiting season is one of the hardest places to be. Because waiting doesn't just test our patience, it tests our faith. It makes us question if God is still working. It makes us wonder if we've been left behind. But what if I told you that waiting is part of the process? What if I told you that God is not delaying your blessing, he's preparing you for it? The hidden purpose in the waiting. Think about Joseph. God gave him a dream when he was just a teenager. A dream that he would be a great leader. A dream that he would rise above his circumstances. But what happened next? Did he step into that promise immediately? No. Instead, Joseph was thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, falsely accused, thrown into prison. For 13 years, Joseph waited. And he probably wondered, God, did you forget about me? But what Joseph didn't realize was that every setback was actually a setup. God wasn't punishing him. God was preparing him. Because when the time was right, Joseph was promoted to second in command over all of Egypt. What if your waiting season is not a delay but a development? What if God is building something in you that you need for where he's taken you? God's timing is always perfect. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, he has made everything beautiful in its time. Not in your time, not in their time, but in his time. Because God doesn't just see where you are, he sees where you're going. And he knows exactly what needs to happen before you get there. So if he's making you wait, there's a reason. Maybe he's strengthening your character. Maybe he's positioning the right people around you. Maybe he's removing things that would hurt you later. Or maybe, just maybe, he's waiting for you to trust him completely. What if the waiting is a test? Think about Abraham. God promised him a son, but he waited 25 years before Isaac was born. Think about David. God anointed him as king when he was a teenager, but he didn't take the throne until he was 30 years old. God always fulfills his promises, but before the blessing comes the testing. Because God is not just concerned about giving you something, he's concerned about growing you into someone. How to trust God in the waiting. If you're in a waiting season right now, here's what you need to do. 1. Stop comparing. Other people's timelines are not your timeline. 2. Stay faithful. Keep serving. Keep praying. Keep believing. 3. Surrender control. Let go of your timeline and trust God's. 4. Prepare for what's coming. If you're waiting for a blessing, start acting like it's already on the way. Because the truth is, God is never late, he's always on time. Meditation. Finding peace in the waiting. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself in the waiting room. The clock is ticking, but no one is calling your name. You're tempted to get up and leave. But then, you hear a voice. Be still and know that I am God. You take a deep breath. You remember that his plans are greater than yours. And suddenly, the waiting doesn't feel like a punishment. It feels like preparation. Because you're not just waiting, you're waiting on the Lord. Challenge. A step of faith in the waiting this week. I challenge you to do something powerful. Praise God before the promise comes. Instead of complaining, start worshiping. Instead of worrying, start declaring, God, I trust you even in the waiting. Because when you trust his timing, you'll never be disappointed. Call to action. Let's walk in faith together. If this message spoke to you, comment I trust your timing, Lord, below. Hit the like button if you're choosing patience over frustration. And don't forget to share this message. Someone you know needs this reminder today. God is faithful. Even in the waiting, it is working. Keep trusting, keep believing, and keep moving forward. Amen.